Welcome to UltraWorld's coverage of the D1 College Championships. We're here with Anton Orm, Kyle Liu, and Calvin Brown from this year's silver medalists in the men's division, Cal Poly SLO. Thank you all for being here. If you don't mind just starting, I know a tough result today, but an incredible season from SLO. Can you start off just talking about what you're proud of from this team?
It was mostly just the growth. I think making history is nice. Obviously, first finalist appearance for SLO Corps, but just the love that this team has built, starting at the very beginning of tryouts to where we are now. We're so proud of how we've come as a team, as players, as people. Mostly proud of the love that we have for each other and the love across everything we do.
Everything Kyle said is true. I think that semifinal win against Darkside, I know we're all going to remember that game for the rest of our lives. It was a pretty special comeback. Really wish we could have, brought that same outcome into today, but I know we'll always have that memory of us playing together to cherish.
I'm mostly proud of just the fight we gave all season. Like Calvin said, yesterday versus Darkside, and today also in the final. And throughout the whole season, really, we worked up to this moment, but we really fought the whole season, and never gave up. And just, the fight throughout the season, especially the last few days as well.
Awesome. I'm glad you brought up last night's game. So you don't mind, I want to start there. Down 8-4 at half, you're down 13-10. Can you talk about just really what powered the team through that 5-goal comeback to win?
A big thing that our team has had in mind pretty much every game, every tournament this season was just focusing on the people inside the circle, inside the team. Darkside is this team that more than any other team in the college division has this aura to them. I think it would have been easy for us to just fall into the trap of can't beat Darkside. And that's kind of what we had a little bit in the first half. I think the thing that kept us going was just the belief and the love that we play for. We weren't playing for any outcome. We were just playing for each other point by point. We only focused on that.
Every time we go on the line, I like saying, just take it one point at a time, one catch at a time, one throw at a time. Simplify as much as you can, especially in a game like that where it's really ugly, really sloppy. Just taking it one point at a time, believing in each other, working together. It's really key for us.
I also think that game showed that SLO Corps is really a D-first team. We gave them a lot of chances. We had a lot of chances to score, but we just played really tight physical defense and showed the SLO Corps energy. I know I'm more of an O guy typically, but all of Corps loves playing in your pants, tight defense, and I think that's what really brought us back into that game.
I want to follow up on that point, Calvin. I was watching the first half of your first game of the tournament against Penn State, and it immediately jumped out to me that Penn State were not prepared at all for the level of defensive intensity you brought against them, and that every other team were going to have trouble with it. We saw it give Colorado fits in the pool play game where you came back to win. We saw UNC struggle to find good looks late in the game because you kept up the onslaught. Obviously, there are some really talented matchup defenders. Kyle played brilliantly. Max Gade was phenomenal. The list could go on, but I wonder how much it's a game plan that makes your defense so strong versus how much it's reps and preparation just on a kind of a personal level from each player.
I think it's both. Our defense requires us to run hard and try hard, but it also requires us to be on the same page. Our coaches do a really good job of coming into every game with a plan in mind to make the other offense uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, it's you win with your legs. You don't win with strategy. So that's really what it boils down to.
Something we say all season is something we fight with all season is when we're learning these new complex defenses that Tim and Cody cook up for us. It's always on the basis of hard man defense. I think there are times when we can lose that, but like this weekend, one of our mottos was no shortcuts. We play sometimes a lot of helpy, poachy looks, but it all comes down to if you're not working hard enough, it's not going to work. So yeah, a little bit of both. Very proud of Cody and Tim for helping us strategically throughout the season and giving us some great defensive looks, but also proud of just the matchup defenders that we have. The whole team putting in work. Like Calvin said, it all comes down to legs.
And you, as a defense, both when Brown were on an O point and they were on a deep point, I mean, everybody at this point knows what kind of look they're going to run with that triangle set. How did you plan for that in advance, and what did it feel like during the game?
Yeah, we knew about their dominator. I think a lot of it comes down to adjustments on the mark to try to take away those inside looks that really get them those break side opportunities. I think not overcommitting on their first cuts is really big too, because they'll slip you and they'll get a ton of yards and kind of get a little mini fast break. I was really happy with the way our defense played, especially that second half. I think we tipped a disc or got a D every single one of their O points, and I think that's something to be really proud of.
This is actually a question that just came in from one of our subscribers who was really interested. You all just won the Spirit Award for the year, and anybody who has been around your sidelines all tournament long and all year long, I assume this is actually the first time I got to see you play live this year, has noticed that there is a whole lot of fun, there's a whole lot of energy. Beans is working the crowd, picking up the disc to tap it in. How do you create such a vibrant mood around the team to go along with playing good hard ultimate? Anton, I guess.
I think it all boils down to just like having fun while we're playing. Like we're out there playing a sport we love with the people we love. And every time we go out there and play, like we just want to have fun together. We want to play the game, play with each other, play with the team, have fun. If that means interacting with the crowd or cheering together or like chanting our cheers or songs, like that all comes as one together. But yeah, basically just like trying to have fun when we're playing, that expanding out to everything else.
Yeah, every year is a new iteration of this team. This year, we just like to build our basis on the idea of loving each other. Like I said in that last question, we do everything with love for the people inside our circle, and all the supporters we have, all the love we have from across the nation. But it also just comes down to knowing that intensity and lightheartedness aren't two sides of a spectrum. Like our team plays really well when we are having fun. Maybe for other teams, they need to get like more intense, more aggressive, aggro to like play well. But we're a team that really pride ourselves on keeping both at a very high level at all times.
Keep core weird.
I want to bring your focus back to this game, in particular against Brown. I'm curious, each of you, I think, have a pretty big role when you have the disc on offense. There were a few drops bound to happen in a big game, but definitely I think Brown showed different looks than you might have seen on film. I'm curious what it felt like to play against that and where your offense kind of got into trouble.
I think Brown, on the first half especially, did a really good job disrupting our split sack motion with help and with really tight handler defense that stymied our side-to-side movement. I think their zone looks we had seen on tape, but with the swirly wind and the stadium conditions, I think it was a little harder to find those outlets. I think they did a good job of making us a little uncomfortable, a little frantic. And I think everyone here, probably more people on the field, have shots they want back, have catches they want back. But I think all credit to Brown's defense there.
Yeah, I'll second that. I think especially off of like dead discs after turnovers, they poached off our split stack really well. Prevented like movement early in our possessions pretty well, and that helped stop our flow. Yeah, I guess that's all I got.
The semifinals started in a driving wind and an incredibly soaked atmosphere yesterday. Today the stadium was different, but also kind of changing every 3 or 4 points. Without getting into the weather from the tournament in general, can you tell me what the conditions felt like out there as throwers and receivers today?
It was pretty difficult out there. I don't think I've ever played in a stadium like this before, where we have like wind. It seemed like the wind was coming off the stands and kind of like shooting up off the field. So a lot of hucks were floating longer than expected. Probably saw that. Yeah, just every disc in the air seemed to like bounce a little bit too. We had trouble with that. That also might have contributed, just like second guessing some of our throws or catches. But it was definitely difficult. Created like a sloppy environment.
In particular, there was one point where like a swing popped over my head that I wasn't expecting. They got the disc and threw a huck that Beans was like perfectly on track to D, and then it popped over his head perfectly into the hands of the Brown receiver. So those kind of plays just kind of leave you frustrated because it feels like a little out of your control. I mean, obviously, like we have to make our own luck. Like that's something that Tim and Cody say a lot. But the wind definitely played a big factor in some of those throws.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard when it seems to be changing every few points. It's easy to kind of get accustomed if it stays the same, but when it's changing, it causes a lot more problems that way.
Kyle, you've been with this. Calvin, you've been with this program since 2019. You came back from a massive injury to play with them last year and this year. I don't want to embarrass you, but you've been one of the stars of the college game for as long as you've been playing. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on an incredible career.
I'm like so thankful to have the experience I did with SLO Corps. I think we have a really special culture. I think we have really special people, and obviously those like build into each other. I'm just honored to have had so many incredible people as my teammates that have helped me grow. I think sometimes, especially like this season and last season, my play was not necessarily that of a star, but I had a little bit of name brand recognition, and I like maybe make some throws that look cool. But I really think like my teammates do a lot, have done a lot in every iteration of this team, and I'm so happy that like Kyle and Anton are starting to get more recognition, starting to become the new faces of the division, and I'm can't wait for more of that to happen.
If I could speak a little bit on what it's like to have Calvin as a teammate. I think his selflessness, especially this year, really, really stands out. Like you said, he's been a star for a while. He is the cornerstone of this team. And to all the other teams, is easily the most recognizable name for a reason. Extremely, extremely talented. But he comes to every practice. He works to get better. He doesn't expect to get handed anything. He holds himself to a higher standard, and then cares about everyone on this team. We have like wingies on the team, kind of pairs up. He was a wingie with a freshman this year and spent a lot of time just like working on that connection. And I think that really just speaks to Calvin's willingness, his love, and his selflessness towards this team.
Yeah, Calvin, like, only good things to say about Calvin. Like, he helps us so much on and off the field. Especially this year, like, being an older figure on the team, but not in leadership, like helping us out at practices, helping out the roster, top to bottom, really helping everybody improve, like day to day, practice to practice, even outside of practice. Like, he's given so much to this program and is so important to this program. And yeah, just thank you, Calvin.
Fact question: Anton and Kyle, are you both going to be back next season? What's in store in 2025 for SLO Core?
It's a very heavy question. Hard to really answer now. But we're really excited. I mean, every year, like I said, is a new iteration of what this team means. It's always nice to go into a season knowing you have a base to build off of, but also knowing that the season that comes ahead is going to be an entirely new, different team. So even though we're going to be returning a lot of players, if we come in with little expectations of what this team can achieve, I'm just really excited, what that ceiling holds for us.
Yeah, obviously, fairly successful this year, but yeah, I'm excited to get back next fall with all my friends and just put another great season together. We got a lot of good players, a lot of people going to get better over the summer as well. So yeah, excited for next year.
All right, Anton, Kyle, Calvin, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on a great season. And welcome back to Ulti World's live coverage of the D1 College Championships. We are here with Leo Gordon, Oscar Lowe, Jacques Nissen, and Elliot Rosenberg from your men's division champions, Brown. Congratulations on the win, everyone. And if you don't mind just giving me a first round, how does it feel?
I don't think it's fully set in for me yet. Seeing everyone else be really happy around me was really comforting. Seeing the alums be all excited, seeing my family especially meant a lot. I'll let other people take it from here.
Yeah, I mean, on our team we talk about the process and how important the process is. And I think that winning at the end validates that process. So just really excited.
Yeah, definitely a little bittersweet. I mean, I'm really going to miss the team. So I think that's definitely sadness is an emotion I'm feeling, but also just like trying to ride the wave of just excitement and like disbelief and happiness about the win.
Yeah, same as Leo.
Sounds good. This tournament, I'll take you back to Friday. It's raining. You have to warm up like 8 times before you're playing UNC in this just, insane game. We have a beautiful sunny day on Saturday, but you're working through, different player availability. Can you talk about, how your team handled the varying conditions in this tournament and how that brought you success?
Yeah, I mean, all I'll say is that the whole up and down ride of the first day playing on the showcase field allowed us to lock in from the very start. And I think that first UNC game felt like a bracket game for us. And it was really good to just get us locked in to start.
Yeah, on our team we talk about something called Adversity Town. And being able to go there right away was awesome. I think it was a huge opportunity for us to figure out what was working and what we needed to improve. And as we kept on going, kept on pushing, working through those player suspensions and figuring out how we were going to take home the chip, especially getting a chance to play on that showcase field on Friday under the lights with all the cameras and how it felt to warm up 3 times. I think it was definitely really important preparing us to win.
You talk about Adversity Town and doing a lot of figuring out, working through things. How late in the tournament did that progress? I know that at one point I had to sprint across the street to the auxiliary fields because you were down to the bottom seed, Michigan, in pre-quarters in the bracket in the second half. As soon as I got there, everything changed, obviously, and you went ahead for the win. But clearly, this was a team that had not quite put all the pieces together in the right place. So how long did that working through process take over time?
Yeah, it took a minute. I think we decided to stop throwing it deep, and that was where the pieces came together. Props to Leo and Jacques for really reining in and putting some trust into all the guys up and down the O-line. We knew we had worked incredibly hard with our legs all year, and we just decided that this would be a tournament where we really showed it and kept the passes down to sub-5, sub-10 yards, and win with our legs. I would say we started to put that together by the Michigan game, but even in this game, we all threw a huck turnover, and it took us all seeing one of our hucks hit the ground before we realized we have to lock in. So maybe next game we'll put it together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's rare you see a team come from the pre-quarters round to win in the championship. But I still felt in each bracket game we played, we were the fresher team, which I think speaks to our season-long commitment to conditioning, showing up on time, and yeah, I don't know. That's all I got.
I want to talk a little bit about that short game before we focus on the defense, which I also very much want to talk about. So Leo, Jacques, Elliot, you all came in 2020. Oscar, I think you were the year later. Yeah. So you all came in when there was still the tail end of the 2019 championship team there. JR was on the team. Saul was on the team. I think you still had one more season of Ken No on the team. Right, so those are guys who had already for a couple of years been steeped in the BMO short pass system that developed and that Mac and Ned Dick and Saul used to such great effect in 2019, and you all kind of entered into a program that had that system. How was it jumping into that, and how have you all put your own touches on it?
I don't know. I think looking at it from the outside, it can seem kind of boring, I guess. I think like some of the most fun plays in Ultimate are like big throws, big catches, big yardage. But being able to grit out like 1,000 passes, and I love to play with a smile, and like that when that around hits and you can just like run onto it. There are all these like little small moments. It's like a little puzzle, and so I think being able to, for me at least, starting to integrate into that. I think it was the 2022 season maybe was my first real experience with that. I think it's a really fun way to play, and what you don't see from like watching our games is that every single person on our team practices that same style. At practices, we're running small ball, and up and down our roster, everyone is fighting in like 3v3 wide field games, and so it gets every single player a lot of touches on the sideline, a lot of opportunities to have to get resets. And so every single player on our team has the ability in that high pressure situation to do the same kind of thing that you're seeing us do. And so I think it really is a fundamental part of the Brown system.
Real quick follow-up. So, Leo, you're saying that before you got incorporated into actually doing it in games in pressure situations in 2022, you were practicing those situations all the time for a couple years?
Yeah, I mean, we got I've done more than 1,000 reps with Elliot and Leo and Cal, and then our other O-line cutters, Luca, Henry, maybe Oscar, Taylor Johnson, those guys, they did 1,000 reps with each other. And so everyone's getting reps with, the people they play with. And that's just how we build chemistry. And, it kind of comes together over the course of the year. It takes a long time. There are no, hard set-in-stone rules. It just, it looks a little bit different year to year. And it's really just, you figure it out over the course of the year to match the personnel you have for that year. So, even though, this strategy came about to match, John's skill set and Ken's skill set, we've tailored it to match me and Leo and Elliot and Cal's skill set.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. We definitely faced some adversity. I remember in 2019, 2020, after we won the championship, of trying to overfit the new players into the old systems. And it honestly took a couple of years for us to really build our own identity and style around how we were going to run our Dominator set. And so you can see Jacques and Leo playing catch down the field, and I'm just chilling way behind them, letting them work, and just being a release valve for them and hitting them. It takes sort of every one of us trusting in each other and using our strengths as much as possible. Although there are some similarities from 2019, I would say, to our sets. We were having a real struggle with our offense at some point mid-season. I remember when that was, and we pulled back and watched some film back from the days and made some adjustments to our spacing. And you can sort of see us flip the switch there. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I do want to talk about the defensive side of the ball, as Edward alluded to. Okay, awesome. A few moments ago, we had the Cal Poly SLO guys in here, and they were talking about how you really were able to disrupt their kind of hybrid open side flow that they like. Can you talk about your defensive approach to the game? If there are any, whether it was specific matchups, specific schemes that really worked for y'all?
Yeah. So as I was kind of talking about in the pre-nationals interview with Ed, I think that our D-line is predicated on a certain mentality. We have a style that we play, but it's a certain mentality of the utmost high level of confidence going into it. We psych ourselves up on the line, and we believe that we can make plays. I think we're athletic enough to match up with any team in the division. I just want to shout out Emmett Young. Did a fucking great job on Calvin Brown. And I think it started from there with his hand block early on. Like, if we start making plays early on, then we start raising our level of confidence, and we're able to continue to make plays. And when we go up early, it's obviously nice to have big O-line guys cross over on our line, which happened most of the weekend, but we were lucky enough this game that we got enough of a lead to play kind of just pure D-lines. And so even though we weren't able to always convert our chances, I think that we sort of ran them into the ground with our Dominator Bakery set, and were able to tire them out so O-line could go out and execute on their side of the ball. Yeah.
Real quick follow-up on something you said. You mentioned Emmett's hand block. Do you realize that you hand blocked Calvin Brown, Anton Orm, and Kyle Liu during that final?
Those two guys.
But yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
was there anything that's like going into these marks to not just make them good, solid, uncomfortable marks, but to actually get turnovers out of them, or is it just a fluke?
I mean, Leo and I are California guys. Calvin, they're all California guys. I played with and against Kyle for since 2018. So some part of that is just watching film. Some part of that is practicing marking, and the other is that we know these guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, we watched a ton of film to prepare for this. Actually, Jacques and I were the folks on our team who scouted Cal Poly. And so, I don't know, Anton is a player who I've been watching the past couple of years as someone who's really stingy with the disc, incredibly athletic. I mean, he was locking me up out there, so I think he's someone I've definitely had my eye on, and it was really fun to be able to take that matchup today and see that kind of pre-work pay off.
And following up, Oscar, about Emmett, I remember being really impressed with him last season as a freshman, and I can't remember who I was talking to at the beginning of the season, but I heard, Emmett's not going to be playing this year. He had some commitment conflicts and couldn't sign on. He apparently signed on late. I know there was a bit of a weird roster bureaucracy snafu there. Can you talk me through getting Emmett back onto the team and ready and playing huge minutes in crucial games in the bracket?
Yeah, I mean, Emmett just has a massive presence to him. And from day one, when he started coming back to practice, we could feel that presence. And we started, I think, after a tough Easterns on the D line, we were like, we gotta start working really, really hard at practice to start challenging these O guys more. And I think Emmett was a huge part of coming back and really just instituting a certain type of mentality in our team, lifting other people up. I came in as a freshman last year, just natural leader, and a good guy as well. So,
and I think something about BMO, I don't know, we've had in the past a couple times where players take time off the team. We all have a lot of commitments. We have lives outside of Ultimate Frisbee, barely. But I think when if you're on our team, you're always on our team. And Emmett was someone, actually, even when he wasn't playing at our tournaments, he was watching film. He was sending players tips. It was clear that he was still dedicated to the team. And when he expressed that he wanted to come back, we talked as a team about it. And in the end, I think we're just really, really glad to have him back. But he put in a ton of work. He's an incredibly hard worker, both at practice but also in the film room. And so we're just really grateful for that.
Yeah, I had a class with him this semester, and it was Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 50 minutes, and the entire class for all those 50 minutes we talked about Ultimate the entire time. So he was locked in from the start.
Also, me, Cam, and Emmett run bowling at least weekly or bi-weekly, so we knew he had the competitive spirit in him, and we just saw it just building up. Every time I beat him or Cam beat him, he just wanted to take it back out on us, and so the decision to come back on the field just felt natural.
One thing that strikes me about this BMO team, particularly this year, is that regardless of what's going on with the big things, a certain big throw or a certain score, you all are striving to do all the little things right a lot of the time. Jock, you mentioned being on time or, training, that's part of that. But, tip discs were such a big factor in this weekend. And every time I looked up, Brown were in position to be ready for it. It happened a couple times in the Georgia game, which was tight and close and wet and gross. And, I remember when on a D-line possession, Anton Orm got what could have been a layout block on Emmett, and it slightly macked up, and Emmett was ready to pick it up there. Where does that mentality of getting all those small things right start?
I think we're long overdue in acknowledging the assistant coaches we brought on this year, in Nate Taylor and John Stout. For a while, it's been Jake Smart running the show, single-handedly with help from captains. And this year, from the get-go, early in the fall, we knew we had 2 assistant coaches ready to help, and they allowed us to focus on the little things, like you said. Jake could, think about the big picture, while Nate really focused on individual player development. Stout helped us get organized, game plan, watch film, allowed the captains to focus on logistics, the pulse of the team. I found myself doing less as a captain this year than I have in years past, and I think a lot of that's due to the assistant coaches we had and the passion and the time they put into the team, which goes unnoticed by most, slightly noticed by me, but even I don't understand the full scope of it.
And also just I don't know, I think we're always leaning forward into the moment. Everyone's always ready to make a play, no matter who it is, no matter where we are on the field. And I think this weekend, at least I felt it, we were all so focused. I think everybody really, we had our eyes on the prize. We were playing confidently, and we knew that we had to finish every single play. So I think that's also contributes to that as well.
Yeah, this morning, I really, really wanted to sit in the hot tub for an hour, but I said, one more game, I'm gonna focus, get my body right, and I'll enjoy the hot tub later tonight. So yeah, that kind of focus was up and down the roster for sure.
Hey, Jacques, if you don't mind giving the microphone in your hand, I have a question just for you. You started the school year back in October, winning a club championship with Truck Stop. Finish it here with BMO. Can you just talk about what this year has been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, the club championship was really fun. I came back to school and I was met with fraudulent, attacks, which I knew were coming from those people. But I think I was able to refocus on the college year pretty shortly after, because it just feels so much more impactful and so much more meaningful than club at this point in my life. These are the guys that I go to class with, that I live with, that I spend all my free time with. And it really has felt like a 4-year build-up, 5-year build-up through COVID to get to this point. I don't know if I'll be able to lock in on club immediately after this, but I was single-handedly focused on college since October.
We have a question coming in from the streaming audience here, live chat. They want to know, who is the toughest team you played at this Nationals?
The Beavers, baby. They actually were the heart. They had some people. Number 4, Ben Thones, were just shooting hammers. They were coming down with everything. We really did not match up well against them. We don't finish well in the air as a team. And so having a team just consistently challenge us in that one aspect, I don't know. They really pushed us.
Yeah. I mean, agreed. And I think that it actually helped us a lot, in our game plans down the stretch to think a lot more about help D deep and figuring out how to stop that kind of deep attack. But yeah, I mean, they got us. That was a good game.
Quick question: are any of you returning next year?
Say no.
I have one more year left.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome. So I'll ask you about the future of Brown in a minute.
We're all eligible, though, if you want to.
I mean, yeah. OC does. Charlie Eisner just poked his head through the door. All right, well, then this question is for Elliot, Jock, Leo. You all came in the same class, 2020. You have had a season canceled. You've had a season start late when you reached the semifinal. You have reached the final. You've had a loss in one of the greatest games we've seen at Nationals against UNC last year, and you've won a championship. I would love to hear from each of you about what this 5-year run has been like for you.
I'm still here. I look, you have an answer. There you go. It's been a long process. Especially COVID felt long, kind of the year and a half without playing. I know for some more than others, it was easier to like commit to Ultimate in that time. I am grateful for the upperclassmen we had before us, especially John, who pushed me to keep working and tell me there's going to be Ultimate after this. Like, keep pushing. We're going to be better for it. I think that's when I saw my greatest growth as a player in that time period. So yeah, the people that came before us had a lot to do with this year's title. I don't know, pass it over.
I'm super grateful for you, Jacques, and you, Leo, and for Cal as well, and Noah Balburek and Will Steinfeld, who we came in together, the 6 of us. Noah, Leo, and I played together in high school, so we knew each other already, but there was like an instant bond with the 6 of us, and we've been through ups and downs together. I think we've really pushed each other emotionally, physically. We've been with each other in our hardest moments and our happiest moments, and the growth is not just on the field. I have incredible love for the people in this room, and think that went a long way this weekend of just really truly being able to trust each other and know where our edge was. I don't think we would have had the poise and experience to commit to that the way that we committed this weekend without going to Adversity Town, like Leo mentioned.
Yeah, it's been a really magical 5 years with BMO, and like Elliot said, just look at these goons, oh my gosh. But yeah, I think just both. Both being able to see the process of coming up through a program, and then also seeing ourselves, seeing our class grow into leaders and mentors on the team has been incredibly special. There are so many, like Jacques was saying, there are the people who came before us, but also starting to see Oscar, all these goons. Oh my gosh, coming up into the program and just becoming leaders. And the future is so bright for BMO Ultimate. And Oscar can speak more to that, but it's just so special. College Ultimate, spending so much time with all these people, and yeah. So I think seeing that is really special.
But yeah, before we move on, I just can't overstate the impact that this 5th-year class has had on the program. They're 2 years older than I am, and when we all came in as freshmen, they were instantly our mentors. Jacques was captain my freshman year. I remember Elliot and Leo instantly took me under their wing in tryouts. I could only throw a lefty backhand because I used to play baseball, and that was the motion of the lefty backhand, so I had to learn how to throw a flick and a righty backhand, and I honestly owe all of this Ultimate stuff to these guys. From day one, they were there for all of us, and kind of started as this mentor relationship. But now we're boys, so I couldn't really ask for anything more from these guys here, and I think that every underclassman would say the exact same thing. This is a truly special group of guys. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll let y'all get back to your hot tub celebration with the rest of the team. Leo, Oscar, Jacques, Elliot, congratulations. Thank you for your time, and hope you all get to enjoy the celebration.
Thank you.